Hi guys, it's been a long time. I'm back with just like a stream of consciousness video about my season 3 predictions and how accurate they were. And also like a little update on what to expect from what I'm working on right now and just in general what's going on with this channel right now. So I hope I can make this kind of quick-ish. Not really my strong suit, being unscripted and concise ever. So sorry about that. This is just gonna be a little thing. So yeah, like how are we feeling? It's been less than a week since season 3 came out. Yeah, I had a very interesting time watching season 3 because it was very emotionally overwhelming because I've assigned so much importance to it, and of course I love this show so much. Like it's grown to such monumental, just the importance of it has become so monumental to me, with this YouTube channel and everything as well on top of that. So I had like every single emotion that a person can have while I watched it, and I kind of had like a weird emotional breakdown because of it, because I do have emotional regulation issues, and it was just so much, and also there was just the absolute avalanche of links. Like the promo has been going off the rails, like for me. I mean, it's just been so much, and because I'm so neurotic and I feel like I have to get everything right away or I'll miss it and will be gone off the internet forever and all that. On the day of release, it was too much, frankly. I've been posting everything on Patreon, like all the links for the research tier, that is the $1 tier, the lowest one. Like, I'm still posting everything as I find it, and like even the people on my Patreon are clearly like, this is just, you're posting too many links. Like, I was posting like 25 posts a day. Thankfully, it's slowed down now. But yeah, like that with, I watched season 3 twice the first day, and I also had this weird effect where it was just like this uncanny valley because I'm so familiar with seasons 1 and 2. Like I know every single little bit about those. Like I know them so inside out. So it was so bizarre watching more of it, but it was familiar but unfamiliar. So I just had this weird effect that I was like feeling bizarre that I didn't know this by heart. I knew that it was gonna get better, like the more I kept watching it and the more familiar and comfortable it got, like the comfort of familiarity. I had a little bit of that in season 2 as well, but this time it was just massive because it was also so different. Like now I'm over that first shock of emotions that I had, and I'm just happy, and it's amazing. And of course, I loved it. Like the first time I watched it, it wasn't that weird yet. The second time around, I just started having too many emotions, and I cried so many times. I tried to like keep track of which things I cried at in my head, but it was just too many things that I just completely lost count. But anyway, I definitely did not do reaction videos on my first time watching it for my Patreon for the $3 tier, where I do questionable quality reaction videos. I'm not great at being unscripted, let's face it. But yeah, I didn't do that, and that would have been an absolute disaster anyway. I was completely incoherent. But I will, when I get really familiar with season 3, like where I feel like I have some kind of substantial things to say, I will be doing a reaction series on my Patreon to that with my face. I only show my face to people on the reaction tier on Patreon because I like to control like how much I am out there, because this channel is not about me. I say as I'm just talking about myself here. But yeah, I will be going into lots of things there once I get to that. I don't know when. I'm gonna take my time with that. That's definitely not my priority. I have a lot of editing to do here. So, yeah, I actually, I'm gonna do the updates on that first. So, I am going to be starting the actual editing process for the season 3 deep dives very soon. I just checked and I have 45 gigabytes of stuff in my season 3 folder. Just for comparison, my season 2 folder of a finished series that I have finished editing that has everything that I needed for the edits there was 25.8 gigs. and I already have 45 gigabytes of stuff in my season 3 folder, and I haven't started editing it yet. Like, there's been so much. I've had the YouTube playlist for season 3 sources this whole time. It's been unlisted, and the Patreon people have had access to it. I don't know when I'm going to publicize that. Like, I was going to publish it when season 3 comes out. I'm going to publish it at some point. But I don't know, it's just a YouTube playlist, but it just feels so unfinished to me anyway. Even though it's just a playlist that I'll keep updating. It'll take about half a year to get the deep dive series ready for me to start posting. That was the case both times previously as well. Well, especially with season 2, because I did do season 1 twice. But yeah, like, I will take half a year. For one reason, because it just actually takes a long time to edit. And for another reason is that I want to have as much stuff out there for me to use as possible. And I need to just wait for that. And speaking of that, I have been working on Stuff I Missed videos for season 1 and season 2. I want to start uploading those soonish. Yeah, I want to work on those, get them ready to publish this month. I just want to get those done now that there's been a lot of stuff for seasons 1 and 2 coming out in the press and promo season for season 3. They've been talking about a lot of season 1 and 2 stuff, so I've been including that in the Stuff I Missed videos. So, you know, to avoid having to make a lot of Stuff I Missed videos, I take my time with the actual deep dive series for season 3, like I did last time too. But yeah, so that's that update. I have other little things that I can do in the meanwhile, and I have some projects that I'm working on. This channel is officially out of hibernation now. Okay, so let's go into the actual season 3 predictions part of this. I wasn't that into making predictions this time around for a few reasons. Like, one reason was that I was just very, very on top of all the quote-unquote leaks. By leaks in this context, I mean people filming and taking pictures of the cast filming in public locations and posting those online. I've been saving those. Again, I don't condone people doing that. Don't bother people when they're trying to do their job and, like, post spoilers about stuff online. But, you know, my morally grey thing is that after the season is out, I do use those things in my deep dives because they're out already and they're not spoilers anymore. So, yeah, you can feel all sorts of ways about that. I do not condone the actual leaks of the episodes from the dubbing company at all. I actually was lucky enough that I managed to completely avoid those. I did not want to see anything, and I did not see anything, and that's a miracle with this whole research stuff that I've been doing this whole time. How did I manage to avoid that? I was just incredibly lucky. Yeah. So, season 3 predictions. I didn't make a lot of predictions because it just felt like I knew what was coming based on the books and all the so-called leaks that I'd seen and saved. So, my predictions were not great. And I'm also really not the type of person to do wild predictions because I actually hate being uncertain and wrong about stuff. But yeah, here's what I did write down and what dates I did write those things down. And let's see how well I did. We'll see. October 26th, 2023. Michael Holden, actor, was leaked. Yeah, people saw him around when they were filming the Fate scenes. So we knew that Darahan was going to be Michael. I didn't write anything more about that, just that happened. Yeah, so there's that. That's not a prediction. Then I said, so we've seen pretty much the whole beach day being filmed, and now they're filming the summer fete with Charlie playing drums in Zaha's band. They've also already filmed the uni visits with Nick and the girls. People are absolutely freaking out about how volumes 4 and 5 will fit into one season, but I'm like the only one who just figures that Alice has found a way to write that in a way that makes sense to her. The fandom is in shambles, and I'm just watching from the sidelines as they go to war with each other over a season they haven't seen. Lol. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's not really a prediction at all. That's just me stating what's been happening. Then I wrote down, we will not get Charlie in his iconic cropped tee and black jeans look for the drumming gig, which is pretty baffling. He's wearing a pretty boring outfit with a regular t-shirt and blue jeans. Very weird. I guess they were going for a more colourful aesthetic, but it's disappointing. I've had time to think about this, obviously, now, and I think that the colorful aesthetic is one thing. Like having Charlie wear really dark clothes might send a kind of weird message when it's supposed to be this triumph of him gaining self confidence when it's such a colorful show. So I get that that might be a very important reason why. And also, I don't know if that page of the comic existed yet when they were doing the costume design, because volume 5 was, being made at the same time as season 3. So Alice was writing the same scenes for the show and the comic at the same time. So they didn't exactly have the source material to use in the same way that they did for the previous seasons. So that would also have had an impact on that. But yeah, the fans were really upset that we didn't get the rocker Charlie look, and yeah. I mean, it works on the show, like it still has the same message, but it was a very different look in the comic. Okay, so November 14th, 2023, I said, they're shooting Charlie's birthday today. It's the same as the comics from what it seems. And that's kind of the majority of my predictions. Like, it's probably going to be very similar to what it's in the source material. I'm not great at this prediction stuff. I was better last year. February 12th, 2023. Joe said season 3 is raunchier and focuses on Charlie's mental health. I haven't had many predictions at all because I frankly just believe the third season will be very much based on volume 4, 5 and this winter. Yep. It'll be interesting to see how they do the sex scenes. Alice found such a great way to do it with what the fandom dubbed horny sparkles, and I am 100% sure they will be implementing those in the show as well in a big way. Funnily enough, they actually converted the sparkles into those electric sizzle lightning bolt things. But yeah, the fandom was very attached to the horny sparkles. And what I meant by it'll be interesting to see how they do the sex scenes is that, like, Alice had that whole thing where she didn't want to show any specific things that they were doing for reasons. So that's why I said it would be interesting to see how they do that, in video format on the show without, like, being too explicit with it so that it fits the style of Heartstopper and also what Alice wants and doesn't want to communicate with those scenes. Like, she had pretty strong opinions about, like, not wanting to show, like, the whole who does what thing and, like, assign roles to Nick and Charlie in their sex life, if you get what I mean. And they did do it like that in the show as well. And then I said, I think the diary entries from Volume 4 will not be voiceover or anything. I think we will see a condensed version of those events and we'll see the passing of time, but we'll delve more into what happens in that time. I believe we'll see a lot more about the ward. I hope we see what it's really like on the ward. I mean, yeah, I was wrong about it not being voiceover, because I just thought that the show hasn't had any voiceover before. Not that the comics had voiceover like that before either. But I just thought that they were gonna do it differently. But no, they did do it successfully with the voiceover. It worked. And they did the journal entries as well. Like, I thought that they would have issues like fitting the whole journaling thing in there, but actually including that conversation with Tara is the one encouraging Nick to journal when Nick wouldn't really seem like the type to be consistently journaling. That worked perfectly and it made sense. So yeah, I was wrong about the no voiceover. And we did see a lot more about the ward. Like, it was still just like glimpses here and there. Like, we didn't go like really in depth. Like, we didn't spend a lot of time like doing specific scenes in there. But yeah, it was obviously that was a very, very good episode. Like, everyone was saying that it was their favorite before the show came out, and it's a phenomenal episode. They did this so well, and I'm so pleased with it. Like, I was very invested in, like, I wanted to see what Charlie's hospital stay was going to be like, and I was not disappointed. It was very good. Okay, spoiler warning for the next couple of things. If you haven't read Volume 5 and you don't want to get spoiled about Tori in there, skip to this timestamp. Then I wrote down, it seems that we may see a little bit of Tori and Michael stuff from Solitaire. It would be jarring to go fully Tori POV because we haven't done that yet, but I'm not against it. We will see the whole trajectory of Tori meeting Michael, figuring out she's ace, and then making it official with Michael, or at least getting close to it. Yeah, we didn't get Tori POV really, but we did get those little bits. Yeah, we did actually get little bits of Tori's POV in the first episode and the winter episode. So that was nice. And we didn't get like fully Tori POV stuff about Michael, yeah, other than that moment in the Halloween party. But yeah, I was so happy with Dara's portrayal of Michael. Like, I love Michael more now. Oh, he was so good. It was so great to see him. Then I said, Tori goes on the Ferris wheel with Michael instead of Charlie. There's video of them filming this. She might tell Michael she's ace there instead. Yeah, I was just completely wrong about that. Like, there was video of this, but it was like from far away, and it was clearly misinterpreted what was happening in that video. So no, that didn't happen. And also Alice has said that they're specifically making the choice to save that arc of Tori's into a potential season 4. Again, we don't have confirmation, but we might as well have confirmation that we're going to get season 4. It makes no sense that we wouldn't. And everyone's talking about it really hopefully, so I think they know something. Next, Tao and Elle's long distance thing will be a plotline. Charlie will be stressed about it because of his future with Nick. Of course, we'll really get to Charlie's long distance anxieties in season 4. Funnily enough, actually, it's Nick who's stressed about this and not Charlie yet. It will be a season 4 thing. And you know, Tao and Elle being long distance wasn't nearly as much of a plotline as I thought. Like, we didn't really even see how it practically worked with them going to different schools now already. And Tao has matured a lot, and he is no longer as worried, like, even with Elle saying that she might go to a different country for university. So that was really lovely to see. But the long distance plotline is definitely going to increase in the next season. Once we get it, because we will. Okay, next thing was Isaac will probably come out to the group and hopefully he'll have a real moment of being properly focused on for a second. We haven't seen the friend group truly connecting deeply with Isaac yet, and it would be great to see. I was so pleased with everything Isaac this season. I'm glad Isaac got time and attention and love in the plot. Like, of course, you know, he got sidelined a lot in the beginning, but it was deliberately a plot thing and not just them not having time for him. Yeah, it was a good Isaac season. I'm very happy with that. Then I said, some stuff at the beach seems to be different. Charlie doesn't seem to have that conversation with Elle. Maybe with Isaac instead. Maybe Tao and Elle are doing their own thing. Yaz and Will weren't filming on the first day at the beach. Yep, Charlie has that conversation with Isaac instead of Elle at the beach. And I probably went into it in a later thing where we saw that still of them together. So that solidified this already before I saw the season, that they had switched it to Isaac. And I immediately thought that would be I loved the conversation with Elle, but having it with Isaac, I predicted, I didn't write it here. I don't think I did. But yeah, that gave an opportunity to, like, when Charlie's talking about Nick and Isaac is mirroring that to his own experience, like that there was potential for a really good conversation there, and that is exactly what we got, and that was a really good change for that reason. And now we know that Yaz and Will were not there on the first day at the beach because they were off doing their own thing, their own date thing in the first part of the day at the beach. Okay, next thing, Darcy gets a mullet, so there would definitely be some kind of breakthrough with her parents that allows her to take that step. There might be a gender journey there as well. Kissy said ages ago that Alice was open to it. Now, I was still using she/her pronouns, even though we were suspecting a non-binary arc for Darcy, because that hadn't been confirmed yet. Like, that still hasn't come up in the comics that have been published. And also, I got the Heartstopper official fan cards, and Darcy's card doesn't have pronouns at all, while everyone else's does. So yeah, like it was pretty clear that that was going to be plot point, but I wasn't going to switch to they them pronouns before that was, you know, canon in the thing. So that's why I used the she her pronouns here still. But yeah, we did predict that as a fandom. And yeah, like I said, like even in season 1 interviews, Kizzy was saying that Alex was open to that, but Kizzy hadn't been like ready for Darcy to go there yet, because for Kizzy that was still like a very, very personal thing. But now they were clearly ready to take Darcy's arc there. Then I said, no idea if James is in season 3. Naomi is there, which is no surprise because they'll definitely be having Lambert adventures. No clue how Elle's Lambert era will be shown. Yeah, and Elle's storyline was definitely the most full of new things and surprises that were spoiled in the little interview articles before the season came out, but I'll go back into eating my words about James later on in a later prediction that I made. Harry will continue weaseling his way back into Nick's good graces. They'll eventually start tolerating him to get to the point they're in at Nick and Charlie novella time, but that might take more time. Surprisingly little Harry in this season. Like, at some point I was like, I haven't seen Harry at all. Like, not that I particularly miss him, but I just noticed it, like, he hasn't been here at all. But then he was in 2 scenes. He was in Sex Ed, being the one who boasts instead of this random Marcus. I mean, it made sense that it was someone we know and not just some random guy with an arrow pointing to it saying Marcus. Like, that would have been random. Yeah, he was there, and then he was at the New Year's, and that's all the Harry we got. And I just thought it was funny that at some point I was like, does Harry not exist anymore? But no, he does. He's just not relevant. I want to see Nick hang out with the lads and talk about Charlie. I have to see that. It is a dream. I want to see the lads asking oblivious but well-meaning questions and tease Nick about having a boyfriend. Well, I mean, we did not get that, but I was perfectly happy that we got the scene of Nick and the lads playing games together in Nick's room. Because, like, any content of the lads that I get, I will be happy, because I just have such a soft spot for the rugby lads. I love them. And I can just imagine all the other hangouts that they have had with Nick and with Nick and Charlie. I know there's no time for the lads in the show. I'm just happy with all the little lads crumbs I can get. Thank you. And it was a sweet moment, the one that we got. It's good that we got the more poignant moment showing that Nick does have people in his life, and it's good that he also has some friends that are more his friends than Charlie's friends, while he has been very integrated into the friend group. And also Charlie is friends with the lads, but you know, they mainly share Nick's interests and they've been friends with Nick for a long time, so that's nice. Then, oh god, this next one. Oh no, I'm gonna have to really go into this one. Imogen and Sahar. I don't know, man. I have very little basis for this, but I think Imogen will explore her feelings and maybe have something going on for Sahar, but I don't think it'll be a smooth thing where they go from friends to falling out to friends again and dating. I don't think Sahar would be all that open to Imogen suddenly going gay for her. LOL. I know everyone else is so on board with this ship, but I'm not. Sorry. I just don't see it. And I think it's a little weird that everyone is queer apart from Tao. It just makes my suspension of disbelief break a bit whenever a universe becomes too statistically improbably queer. I'm scared to even state this opinion because it's so unpopular. I'm dreading putting this in a YouTube video and might have to rethink my words if I do. Now, I went into this when I did the Patreon reaction video for season 2, episode 8, where they have that hint about Imogen. And this is like, you will get crucified for having this opinion on Twitter. So I'm really scared to say this, but it's just like, I get the importance of Imogen's compat arc, and, you know, I should relate to that myself a lot, and I do. But it's just like, I have this experience where I've read a lot of queer books and tried to watch every really bad queer movie that's been out. I'm old, you know, when it comes to this fandom, so I haven't had a lot of good stuff, but, you know, mostly books have been better than movies and TV. But, you know, it's just this weird effect where there's let's just say like movies and TV where everyone is straight and then there's one like token queer person. And then on the other hand, there's these books mostly where like everyone that the characters randomly come across, like waiters and everything, are queer. And you know, since these are old books, like mostly just gay, not much bisexuality and other less represented options. So it's like these two worlds where in one world everyone is straight and in one world everyone is queer, and they just don't feel like the same universes, if you get what I mean. So that's why, because I have this history of seeing a lot of this type of thing. Whenever a piece of media has this, like, there's a lot of coincidences where people are queer and there's not a lot of straight people, it just feels statistically improbable. So it just, yeah, I know this is not a good opinion to have and I shouldn't be defending it at all. I'm just like, please bear with me. It's just like a reaction that I have to that kind of thing. And also, I really liked Imogen being a clueless ally. I thought it was a fun thing to have in the show. But I have said this before the few times that I have talked about this anywhere. Me not being into Imogen's queer awakening arc personally, and I don't hate it, I'm just not like super into it. And me not shipping Imogen and Sahar together because I just don't really love that pairing personally. It's way less important than Imogen making other people feel seen, especially with the representation of comphet, which is not very often explored. And which is something that I also went through for a very, very, very long time in my own life. Like, that's way more important than me not being super into this particular storyline. But, after all of that long explanation of that, I did like Imogen and Sahar's story this season. I liked it. I thought it was handled well. And I was always open to it. Like, just thinking of it before seeing it, I was just like, I don't know about that. But when I was watching it and after seeing it, I was like, yeah, I get this. This works. And it makes sense. So, yeah. I'm sorry for not being that excited about it, personally. Like, I love Heartstopper so much, but I'm not gonna love every little bit of it as much as the other bits, right? That was a really long-winded explanation. I really hope I don't get into trouble for having that opinion. I wouldn't have really stated it quite this publicly, but it was in here, so I wasn't gonna censor that. I hope you understand what I mean. And I really hope that you didn't hear all that and think I was saying that Heartstopper is too gay, everyone is too gay, because that's not at all what I'm saying. Okay, moving on from that scary bomb, we will be seeing Charlie's scars. There was a special effects makeup artist hired on the show, and that is definitely what that was for. Yeah, that was a thing. And then everyone is fan casting David Tennant as Jeff. Eros did do Doctor Who with him, and Olivia came because Eros knew her from Broadchurch. David might like this kind of project, so who knows? But surely he's very busy, but so is Olivia. It's definitely not Hugh Grant. That would be a bit absurd to me. He's actually a really weird guy, IRL. And when I first read this back, I... laughed at me randomly coming for Hugh Grant. I'm not saying that he's a weird guy, like, in a cancelable sense, really. Like, it's just that he's a weird guy. It's not like his characters that you associate him with. Like, I love Notting Hill. He's not like that guy at all. He's more like his character in Bridget Jones, if you know what I mean. So that's what I meant by Hugh Grant being a weird guy, IRL. I just, yeah, that's all I meant by that. But yeah, it's funny. We did actually see David Tennant in Heartstopper because they were watching the David Tennant Doctor Who episode for Christmas. But yeah, no David Tennant as Jeff. That was just a very popular fan cast. Alright, then on February 13th, 2024. Scratch that about not knowing if James is in Season 3. Bradley just posted his rap gift Converse shoes. Of course he's in Season 3. Probably really reduced to a background role again. Maybe a scene or two with Isaac, sorting out what happened between them further and solidifying them as good library friends. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it. Then February 15th, 2024, season starts where Volume 4 starts, season ends where Volume 5 ends. I mean, that was confirmed, so that's not a prediction, that's just me stating facts. Okay, then February 24th, we found out last night that Hayley Atwell is playing Nick's Aunt Diane in season 3. We already knew they filmed in Mallorca, which will have to stand in for Menorca, because that was mentioned in season 1, but now we can safely say Aunt Diane is there on the holiday. Probably also Nick's little cousins, which will be cute. People are being so weird about the news though, like Nick's aunt being cast is the worst thing ever and will ruin the whole thing. I do not understand. There's a fan theory now that Olivia Colman was unable to make it to Mallorca for filming, so her lines were given to Diane. That would be bad. I've actually been worried about the Menorca scene since the beginning, because how are they flying Olivia there? Her or Hayley are not in the group photo from the beach that was posted, which is probably a tactical move, but we'll see what's up. So that one aged poorly. It's like, everyone is freaking out, but it's gonna be fine. But if they replaced Olivia with her, that would be bad. It was fine. Olivia could not make it. She was busy, and Hayley Atwell did a great job. Like, Aunt Diane would have been there anyway, and they made it make sense. Of course, it was really rough news when we found out that Olivia was not going to be in season 3. But it happens, and they made the most of it. And yeah, the scene on the beach in Menorca was... Oh, it was so... Oh, yeah. It was... Yeah. It worked, let's say that. July 8th. Haven't made predictions in a long while. Apparently forgot to say anything about Darcy's hair. Non-binary Darcy arc seems imminent. I didn't forget to say things about Darcy's hair. I forgot that I hadn't forgotten. From the first look stills, Nick will get Charlie a lemur toy from their trip at the zoo. Fans are suspecting the zoo trip is for Nick's birthday, which makes sense. So that was all very correct. We are definitely getting Charlie in the hospital, and I think it's safe to say that we'll be given sufficient time and space in the show. And oh boy was it. It was... Yeah, it was very, very good. Isaac has definitely replaced Elle in the beach scene talk about how Charlie's flustered about Nick's shirtless and wants to tell him he loves him. This contrasting to Isaac's aceness gives potential for a deeper talk to happen here, and it would be a good scene. So I already talked about that. Yeah, that was spot on. There will be something significant happening between Tao and Elle at the New Year's party. Oh! I don't actually know where I got that from. Like, what is that based on? I don't remember. But I didn't think it would be that. Oh, that's funny. Oliver appears as Charlie's cousin. Apparently his role will largely be the same as it was in the This Winter novella, which is lovely for the fans. Yeah, I mean, from how much they made of the whole announcement that they were going to have a version of Oliver on the show, I would have expected that there would have been a little bit more of him. But, I mean, he's mainly just a little Easter egg and a little fan service. And, you know, there wasn't really much more for him to do anyway. Like, he basically did what he did in This Winter anyway. But yeah, that was cute, and the fans were very excited about the reveal. Charlie and Tori have a talk about family in Charlie's bed. Seems like a very cute scene. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't realize that that was just the first scene from This Winter. Like, it's just the same scene without Oliver. Tara and Darcy seem to be doing better now. I mean, when it comes to the issues that they had in season 2, yeah, they're actually really solid this season. Like, they have little things going on, but they're actually really solid. Obviously, by little things, I meant little issues in the relationship that are resolved quickly. Darcy has major big issues, and Tara has really big stress about things outside of the relationship, as well as the whole living together thing. I didn't mean that their issues are small, I just meant that they are solid in their relationship, and they resolve things pretty well. That's all I meant. We already found out Henry the Pug is canon in April. I think This Winter will most likely be very book accurate and last a full episode. I want the banter about the sexual jumper even though it doesn't have reindeer on it. That is the Nick and Charlie banter I need. Well, I did not get the banter about the sexual jumper. I mean, it's always I'm saying that I really want and need these scenes in the show, but, you know, it's fine without those, because we get so many of the ones that we all want and need, and some more. But it's funny that I specified that I really want a little bit of a scene that we don't get. I mean, they did change the tone of that scene a little bit. Yeah, they did, to fit with Charlie's body image journey. So we didn't get banter about the jumper being very sexual. I just think that's such a funny scene in the novella. but it lives on in there. It just, the tone of that wasn't that then. Apparently, I never made any predictions about Jack Maddox either. I think it will be very similar to the Infatuation Dynamics comic. I wonder if Charlie's dimples will be mentioned at all, since Joe's dimples are different and more subtle than comic Charlie's. The episode will tie into the plot of Nick and Charlie's increasing intimacy, and jealousy will be an interesting topic that will be explored in a humorous but also heartfelt way. I don't think Nick will have an Ariana Grande poster. I think they need rights for that. I don't know if they'd mention Zooey Deschanel either. We'll see how they do that part. Okay, so they didn't do the stuff leading up to them going to the actual talk. So none of that was in there. And they did change how that works for the plot about them having insecurities about their bodies and intimacy and that. But the part where they actually go see Jack Maddox, like, that was exactly like the comic. And it was delightful. And obviously, Jonathan Bailey was the perfect pick for that, especially since he himself has desperately wanted to be in Heartstopper since season 1. And, as he was known in the comics, Henry Maddox already existed before that. So it was just a perfect part for him, and that was such a great scene, and I'm so glad that they included that. Like, that was an extra comic that wasn't written by Alice, that was written by Ren James. But I'm so glad that made it into the show, and it actually tied into the theme, so that was very satisfactory. The Nick Manoka phone call scene looks just like the comic. Yeah, it was just like the comic. I don't know why I even said that, like, that's not a prediction. The I love you scene is just like the comic, but Nick has more clothes on. LOL. But this isn't a prediction. I literally saw a video of them filming it. I mean, he didn't actually have more clothes on. It's just that his hoodie was zipped up. And he was wearing flip-flops when they were filming it, when the framing didn't show his feet. But when the feet were shown, he just had, like, apparently these kind of like sandpapery, kind of like stick-on insoles on the bottom of his feet to make it easier walking on the ground. But, from that video of people just stalking the filming location, just going in there and squealing in their car filming it, it did seem like he had shoes on for that. But it turns out he didn't. And then my only wild prediction, just out of nothing, kind of, on September 5th. What if the song Sahar sings at the fate is I Want to Be With You Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac? Now, that was a really random thing, because that song is on the Nick and Charlie mixtapes. It's, I think, at the back of volume 3? I haven't checked. It might be volume 2, but the old mixtapes in the books. That song is there, and Alice has said that is like the most Nick and Charlie song. But it's an old song, and the soundtrack features like really contemporary artists and a very specific type of music. So just random Fleetwood Mac would not fit in there. But I made this prediction because they did a cover of The Cure, which is also an 80s band, in the prom scene. So I was like, maybe Sahar's band will do another cover and it will be this old song. But turns out it was an original song by Sahar. So I was just completely off. Absolutely baseless. Yeah. Well, I mean, I tried to make one prediction just based on my own headcanons of stuff, and I failed. But I put it out there. Yeah, that was my so-called predictions. It wasn't really a lot of predicting, and my attempt to be short and concise has been a massive failure. Everyone could have seen that coming. But yeah, I look forward to the Stuff I Missed videos once I get those done, and I have a little project going on that is very different from these other videos, and it's just mainly for me, but it's like arts and crafts that I've been working on for months actually, and I still will continue working on it for a while. Nobody cares about that one, but I'm doing it for me, and filming it for YouTube is an excuse to put so much time and energy into it. So, and I will be doing, I will most likely be doing all sorts of little videos. In the meantime, waiting for Heartstopper Deep Dive Season 3 to be ready to publish, like little excerpts from that here and there of like things Last time I did the whole smooch counter thing as a separate video. And yeah, I don't even know what all I'm gonna be doing. So if you wanna stay tuned for what I'm gonna be making on the channel, of course, subscribing would help you with that. And it would help me a lot. And like I said, I have that Patreon thing going where on the $1 tier, I just post every link and there's this Google Drive folder with everything that I have, like all the pictures and all the lists of links to all the articles and interviews and sources, and I even have a list of everybody's social media accounts who worked on Heartstopper that I have been able to find, and other Heartstopper related links, and you know, my spreadsheet about the awards and stuff that Heartstopper is getting and nominated for. All that stuff. There's a lot of stuff in my Google Drive folder. I'm taking that a little too seriously. And then on the $3 tier, I have the reaction videos and stuff to seasons 1 and 2, and I will be making season 3 when I feel like it's time for that. So yeah, I hope you stick around, and I actually will be back soonish, within this month. I hope. Bye!